Hello, inspiring professionals. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, actually, I'm going to answer a question from one of my subscribers in terms of my books recommendations to help you get ahead in your career and get promotions that you deserve. So if you're new to my channel, do subscribe to below and hit the bell notification buttons, as I often share here my tips and ideas for evolving your career to its highest potential. I will make an effort to record this video in one go because I am trying to share more content on my channel and try to save on the editing time. So forgive me if it takes me a little bit of time to get through it. But I hope these recommendations will be very valuable for you. I am not a keen reader, I will tell you honestly. So if I actually end up reading books, that means that they're truly packed with value and can make a big difference to your career and your life as well. So if you're ready, I'm going to get straight into it. So one of the most important things that I've been noticing that help people to get ahead in their career, and I'm not talking about just, getting your next promotion and hating what you do and just kind of powering through it and getting yourself a burnout. I'm talking more about how to thrive in your career in the long term and also be able to do really well in it. So obviously to get the promotions and the pay rises that you deserve. So one of the most important aspects to it is to make sure that what you do in your career is very well aligned with your values. And what I mean by that is that it's very much aligned with things that are important to you in your life, things that you are passionate about, and the kind of mission and sort of purpose that you want to express in this world. And I can't tell you what a huge difference it makes to my coaching clients when they really connect with their why, with why they're doing what they're doing, whether in their current jobs or maybe they want to change. It just powers up their progress like nothing else and gets them inspired rather than just kind of motivated in a pushy way. There's this intrinsic motivation that comes through in them, and then it gets noticed by their peers and by their hiring managers, and it got promotions for my clients as well. So I'm going to start here. So start with your why. Why you're doing what you're doing day to day. You're spending a huge amount of time at work. You want to make sure that it's aligned with who you are, what you value, and what it is that you want to express in the world. And the reading that I'm going to advise here is something that I would say is a little bit obscure. Like, I haven't seen many people recommending this book, and the cover is a bit crappy, but it is really, really important book to pay attention to. It's called The Values Factor by Dr. John Martini. He basically, it's a very quick read, weirdly. Like, it's kind of a thick book, but it is so engaging, and it's really inspiring. Just as you go through it, you get inspired to read it till the end, really. And it's something that is going to make sure that whatever steps you're taking in your life going forward, they are truly connected to what inspires you and what you find fulfilling. So start with your why. Check out this book and make sure that whatever it is that you do in your career, you're expressing that why, and this will keep you going, and this will give you this extra level of confidence and desire to do things above and beyond that is hopefully will eventually get you noticed and promoted. But there are other steps to it that I'm going to talk about. I'm going to move on to next. Here I just have some notes here. So another super important thing to really get clear on is once you go to your why, is to truly understand what are your key strengths. I call them like your superpowers. What are your key superpowers? What it is that you do that you are probably the best one in your company, maybe in your team or in your family, and typically it would be something that seems sort of like so natural to you that most of the time people kind of discount it. They go like, yeah, whatever, everyone's good at talking to people on the phone. No, there are lots of people who absolutely hate that and really struggle with it, as well as, if you're really great at crunching out some numbers on an Excel spreadsheet. I guarantee you there are just a ton of people who cannot deal with that, or cannot be as great at it as you are. So get super clear on your strengths. And there's this the issue with not being clear on your strengths, right, is that we're all adaptable, and we kind of a lot of us like can really respond to what's needed in the job market or in your company. So over the years, you may be asked to do certain things. Like, if, for example, your boss may say that, hey, we need to like update our CRM, make sure it's all organized and whatever. And you may take this on, but be hating your life while you're doing that project. And the issue there is that you will adapt to it. You may become good at it. People may give you more work to do in that area. But if you're feeling like you're losing a lot of energy while doing that task, but people say you're good at it, so that's probably not your superpower. That's something that you've learned to do well. But I would say, looking into the future, try to avoid doing a lot of those tasks and really focusing on your superpowers, things that feel sort of easy for you. It's almost like you feel in the flow, like it's almost like you get energized by those activities at work. And a good way to pay attention to it is to start keeping an activities journal. Hour by hour, what you did in your day and how were your energy levels, keeping it for 3-4 weeks, and then looking back and starting to analyze to see what's your sort of zone of genius, what are your superpowers. Another great resource to really get clear on those things is there's a good book called What Color is Your Parachute? If you just want to start getting clear on your strengths. But also another great resource is doing a personality test, really, if you haven't done one already. It's the one I recommend. It's a free test called 16personalities.com, just number 16personalities.com. It's sort of like Myers-Briggs type of testing, and it gives you really a lot of cool insight. And once you got your sort of acronym for your type, you don't just have to look on the website, because I think you have to pay. If you want a full report, you can get a short report though for free though, but then there's lots of information online about your type that's free, that you can do more reflection on. So definitely, step 1, understand your why. Step 2, figure out your strengths and really lean into them. So the reason it's a lot easier to get promoted when you're leaning into your strength is, because you're just bloody good at it, quite frankly. So if you want to get ahead in your career in the long term and make sure you're on an upward trajectory, do some reflection on that. If you're finding it very hard to self-reflect on that, ask your friends. Ask 10 of your friends, former colleagues, current colleagues, what are your key strengths and what kind of things are not for you. There you go. So another step to it, right? You can understand what your passion's about and what your strengths are, but sometimes we get stifled in terms of taking action and getting results. So, the third step really in getting yourself ahead in your career is really just the execution. It's just getting stuff done. And there's a ton of resources that are really great in terms of creating a good daily habit and helping you to actually, arrive to your desk and get it into action. One of the most famous resource really is the Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I was looking for this book on my bookshelf and I knew I had it, but I couldn't find it this time. But it's a very popular resource. You can look it up online. Gives you a lot of really cool information in terms of just being very effective in your day. Once you decided what's that goal that you're moving towards, just making sure that you are consistent and courageous in taking steps to it one by one. So maybe you've heard about this one, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. The game of promotion, the game of getting ahead of your career, if you've been following my channel for a while, a lot of these things are, 80% of that is the inner game. 20% is execution, understanding your strategy. For me, 80% of winning that game is winning your inner game, which means understanding what could be the blocks, the obstacles, the challenging the limiting beliefs that you have that are stopping you from being able just to show up and do the best that you can every day. Take courageous action, run that webinar that you've been thinking about, call that client that could, or I don't know, get involved in a project that really excites you. So a lot of the time, it's easy to say just, go ahead and get stuff done. Or Stephen Covey would say, eat that frog, do that difficult thing in the morning. But many of us arrive to the desk and we have all sorts of fears and unpleasant feelings come up that don't let us get on with it, and we get stuck in procrastination. And I would say the most effective way to work on procrastination is to really understand where it is coming from. And most of the time it will be coming from some sort of like inner belief that you picked up, I don't know, maybe some time ago, or maybe there was some unpleasant event in your past that made you believe that you are not allowed to experience the kind of success that you want to, or a lot of people have some sort of their own brand of being not good enough, or being a failure, or being stupid, like all sorts of unpleasant things that typically these are sort of unconscious things that might not be obvious to you. You may want to be, you may have the PhD and be the best in your class and be very smart, but still there might be this belief sitting behind you and stopping you from really going after your wildest career dreams. So the way really to play the game, to win the inner game, is to really shed light on those unpleasant corners of your subconscious mind, pick them out, and then shine light on those unsupportive beliefs, unhelpful feelings that are keeping you stuck. And again, a really great book that I've read and highly recommend is called Taming Your Gremlin by Carson. Yeah, Taming Your Gremlin. It's super helpful for finding out those kind of parts of you that are holding you back, and then kind of understanding them better, and so that you get a strategy for how to overcome those feelings and uncomfortable, unsupported beliefs, and rewire your mind to help you to really tap into a more confident and courageous part of you that's always there. It's just a question of which part of you are you paying attention to in the moment. So Taming Your Gremlin by Carson. If this part is what you feel you're struggling with, definitely read that book. Okay. What are you taking away from this so far? I would love to hear in the comments which one of those books are you actually really looking forward to digging into, and I'm gonna share a few more resources with you. So it is all very nice and good to be inspired about your vision, to be taking steps towards your vision, to be really good at execution, right? But the issue is that if you are not being noticed, or if someone else is doing a lot less but being a lot more vocal about what they do, you will notice probably in your environment as well that they may get promoted over more deserving individuals a lot of the time. And one of the reasons I notice for my clients why this is happening while they are putting so much hard work and energy into creating value for the company, the issue is that they are actually not able to articulate or, express, show to the right people, what it is that they're doing. And, so they're not able to convey those, their strengths and their achievements to people who are decision makers in terms of their career promotion. So there are lots of really great books on how to articulate and negotiate your value. I actually just recorded a video before this one that I called Convey, How to Convey Your Strengths. I will put a link here in the video. I will put a link to it in the box below to that video. So this is one of the exercises. I talk in that video how it relates to a job search, but it relates just the same way to your promotion conversations, performance reviews. So have a look at that, do the exercise, and then go around really being, articulating your strengths to the right people, and of course putting that in your performance reviews. But another great book that I've read, so I around this topic, it's kind of once you've been doing a really great job, now it's about showing what you're doing and asking for what you want and for what you need in return for the value that you're bringing to the company. So this one is for women. It's by Linda Babcock and Sarah Lachaver. It's called Why Women Don't Ask. Obviously, for my male audience, there are a lot of useful tips here, like no matter your gender. But I would say, there are lots of great books for men too, but I just had that on my bookshelf. So find one that fits your preferences. So Why Women Don't Ask, the high cost of avoiding negotiation and the positive strategies for change. So the biggest issue with doing a great work and not getting promoted is, it happens most of the time when you are not asking for the promotion, not telling anyone about the great work that you're doing. So once, some people are just really good at talking themselves up and getting promotions even when they're not doing a very good job. But you will notice that these people tend to have very choppy career, typically. So going from one company to another, talking themselves up, but in the end, not really delivering on results. And I believe in the long term, it's not the best strategy. So check that out on, ways to negotiate your strengths and ask for what you want. I've been working with a really cool startup this summer, and what I've noticed is a lot of the topics that were coming out of this conversation is around people's ability to resolve conflict. And as you will notice, an ability to have difficult conversations, and as you will probably notice in your company, it's kind of surprising how much time we end up spending day to day trying to fix more like kind of interpersonal issues or conflict at work versus actually focusing on getting our job done. And I think one thing to help you get ahead in your career is to realize it is part of your job. And the higher you progress through the ranks, the more this will become your day-to-day, especially if you're like a CEO of a company or even a founder. You'll probably be spending 90% of your time kind of pacifying and sorting out whatever issues that people are having with each other and whatever conflict is happening within the company. Conflict is healthy, it's needed, it helps the company to do better and progress, but it can get toxic, or it can also be toxic to try and avoid it, or not knowing how to handle it properly, or lashing out at people. So one of the books that I've been recommending to people, and they were finding it very useful for helping you to deal with this interpersonal conflict, professional conflict at your work, is this fantastic book called Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg. So this guy is super impressive. He's actually been negotiating conflict across the board in war zones around the world, in his marriage, in his obviously with his through his career and everything else. So he's got this really incredible model for being able to put your point across while helping the other person to receive your request compassionately. Because the biggest problem that we have with resolving conflict is that it can trigger people so quickly, and then they close down and they do not hear anything else that you have to say, so they may not respond to the request that you have favorably. So read this book, and this will help you in many areas of your life in the long term. It also helps you to kind of learn how to be appropriately vulnerable as well, which is something that is a very important quality if you're planning to be a leader, high-level manager, effective manager in the long term, which reminds me of another book that I really recommend if this is where you're aiming at, by Brené Brown, called Dare to Lead. Brené Brown, you may have heard her name. She's fantastic. She's really bringing this courage to the workplace, to senior executives, helping them understand that they cannot be successful leaders in the long term and create positive impact in our world if they are not willing to be, I would call it, appropriately vulnerable. I don't mean vulnerable as in oversharing, but vulnerable as in being able to say things as they are, so that people actually trust their leaders and trust them in leading them forward, and kind of humanizes this whole structure of management. So check that out as well, Dare to Lead. I'm packing a lot in here. I just decided to go through my whole favorite book list. So I'm just gonna give you one more, and this book is the most special read I've come across in my whole life. And it is the only book that I've reread, I think, 5 or 7 times. And I tell you, I don't really get through books very easily. But this one, I feel like I need to reread it every year. And it's something that moved the needle the most in terms of my personal and professional growth, and something that really gave me courage to go fully for my career dreams, for the dreams in my life. And it's very closely related to helping you to truly like kind of peek behind the nature of reality, to really see behind those kind of masks we wear, and see more the unity and interconnectedness behind all life, behind everyone you encounter, your colleagues, your bosses, your partners, just seeing how we're all interconnected behind this kind of seemingly separate reality that we're perceiving. And once I really kind of started to get that, it really gave me permission and gave me courage to do things that otherwise I would find a little bit scary. So it kind of made my life feel more like a play, and gave me that space to experiment. I left it for the end, but I would say this is the most empowering book I have ever read. It's called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. But I don't have that on my bookshelf. I have his other book that called Oneness with All Life. It's just, it has some extracts from The Power of Now here and his other books. So I'm just reading this over and over again, but you probably want to start with The Power of Now if this is the kind of advice and sort of the kind of insights that you're looking for. All of the strategies, all the things about execution are helpful, but I think this is a lot more fundamental in terms of helping you to feel at peace with yourself, with your life, with your career, with people in your life, with your colleagues and everyone else, so that you connect a lot deeper with people, so you can be a lot more effective in working with them, and also so that you can really ask for the things that you deserve with full confidence and courage and inspiration. So I hope that's been helpful. Please let me know which ones of these books you're going to check out. And if you're interested in working one-on-one with me or in a group setting, I'm actually soon starting a group program, which is very exciting. The first group I'm going to lead through helping them to go through successful career changes, especially for people in their mid-career, when you are sort of rethinking. You've been successful in one field of your career, but you may want to do something else going forward, perhaps something that has more meaning and purpose in it for you. So if you're interested to learn more about opportunities to work with me in one-on-one or group setting, I will leave an email below this video. I'll just say it here. It's Katrin@evolvequest.coach. So yeah, check it out over there. And of course, if you're finding this video helpful, like it, comment, share with people who would appreciate hearing this message as well and learning about the books that I was just mentioning. Yeah, like this video, subscribe to my channel for more videos of this sort, and I'll see you next time.